You know, most people, Del, remember, of course, the giant hit Runaway, but I remember a story with you, and let's see how good your memory is here. Back in the 60s, you came with a record, and it was called From Me to You. And we played the heck out of it in those days. And you said, well, this is an idea I got from a group in England you've never heard of, but I think they're going to be gigantic one day, called the Beatles. Do you remember that? How did that work with From Me to You? Did you have it first? Did they have it first?
Now, they had it first. They were doing a tour of England, and they were doing a show, one of my shows, over there at the Albert Hall.
They were playing on your show.
That's right. And they were doing From Me to You, and it was about #1 there, I think. It was #1 song, and I told John Lennon I was going to cover that song, because I was getting even with them, because the British were always covering American records. And he told me, "Yeah, that'd be great, mate." And then when he walked down the Albert Hall, he turned around and he said, "Don't do that." But I did it anyway.
You're an interesting performer, and one that I've admired for years. You had interesting sounds on those early big top recordings, and I do remember the label that they came out on. But you had an organist in there. Who was?
His name's Maximilian Crook. His father was a brain surgeon, and he came into the club where I worked. I needed somebody to back me up, like an organ player or a guitar player. And I said, I don't know if I want a piano player he had this little box with him. I said, what's in that box? And he plugged it underneath the piano, started playing it, and it sounded like violins and all kinds of strings. And well, I hired him right away. And then one night we wrote Runaway on stage. The next day I came to him and I said, when I point to you, you play something. And he played that instrumental.
Was always your aim along the way, or was it to be the performer, or to do lots of things? What was it?
Well, I mainly wanted to sing when I was a kid on the Grand Ole Opry and be a cowboy singer, you know. And the main thing I like about the business is being in the recording studio. But I don't spend as much time as I used to in the studio. You got to watch yourself. Once you get tied up in the road, it's hard to be back in the studio. 2 weeks ago, and redid Runaway for an NBC program called Crime City. It's a
new show.
Yeah, it's the Miami Vice people, Michael Mann.
Oh yeah.
He's producing it. So he wanted to use Runaway but change a few words. So we did it. It'll probably be out in the fall. In fact, I know it will be.
What are you most proud of or happiest of the things you created?
Well, as far as the song that I wrote, I guess I Go to Pieces is one of my favorites that I wrote for Peter and Gordon. And I produced a record called Gypsy Woman, like I mentioned before, and I was happy with that. That was really a nice, like baking a pie, that record was. Taking this and putting it there and doing that with it. It was really, I thought, one of my favorite things.
Del, you've given us a lot of good music and a lot of good memories over there, and I want to thank you for taking time to talk with us.
Well, it's been a pleasure being here with you.
Thank you. Del Shannon. Super.
Thank you.